I swear I still remember that sound, that soft knock on my door at midnight. At first, I thought I was dreaming until I heard him whisper my name. I froze because I knew that voice. It was my best friend's husband. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you love true stories about love, betrayal, and those moments that change everything, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let me tell you what really happened that night. My name's Talia. I'm 33 years old. And this story still makes my heart race when I think about it. It started when my best friend Mara called me one evening crying. She and her husband Evan were having one of their usual fights. They'd been married for 6 years, but lately things were getting ugly. That night, she told me she needed some space, so she was going to stay with her sister for a few days. But the next morning, Evan called me. He said he didn't want to be alone in that big house. And since he was like family to me, could he crash in my guest room for the night? I hesitated, but Evan had always been respectful, polite, even sweet. So, I said yes. When he arrived, he looked tired, stressed out. He barely smiled. We talked a bit, had dinner, and honestly, it felt like comforting an old friend. Nothing weird, at least not at first. Around 11 p.m., I went to bed. I remember texting Mara telling her Evan was okay and that they just needed to talk things through. She didn't reply. I turned off my phone and went to sleep, or tried to. But around midnight, I heard that knock. Just one soft tap on the door. Then his voice, quiet, almost nervous. Talia, can we talk? My heart started racing. I opened the door slightly, and there he was, standing in the dark hallway, shirtless, holding a glass of water. I asked him if something was wrong, and he just sighed and said he couldn't sleep. He looked so broken, so I told him to come in and sit down. We talked about how he felt like Mara didn't love him anymore, how he'd messed up, how he just wanted things to go back to the way they were. I listened, trying to comfort him. But then, there was this silence. He just looked at me, really looked at me and said, "You're the only person who actually listens to me anymore." Something about the way he said it made my stomach twist. I wanted to say something, anything to change the subject, but before I could, he reached out and touched my hand. It wasn't just friendly. It lingered. I pulled my hand back and told him he should go back to bed. He nodded, but before leaving, he said quietly, "You're different, Talia. You've always been different." After he left, I just sat there for almost an hour staring at the wall, because deep down, I wasn't sure if I wanted him to touch me again or if I wanted to never see him again. The next morning, things got even stranger. When I woke up the next morning, the house was quiet. For a second, I thought maybe he'd left early. But when I went into the kitchen, I found Evan making coffee. He looked normal, like nothing strange had happened. He smiled and said, "Morning. Hope I didn't bother you last night." I just laughed it off and said, "It's fine." But it wasn't. The whole time we had breakfast, I couldn't stop replaying the moment when he touched my hand. I kept wondering if it was just me overthinking. After breakfast, he said he'd head home. He thanked me for letting him stay and gave me this small, tired smile that somehow made me feel guilty. He left, and I spent the rest of the day cleaning and trying to convince myself I had imagined the tension. But that night, he texted me. "Evan, thanks again for yesterday. You're really easy to talk to me." "It's okay. I'm glad you're feeling better." "Evan, I wish Mara could listen the way you do." I didn't answer after that because I knew where it was heading and I didn't want to be the reason someone's marriage fell apart. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted between us. Mara and Evan seemed to make up. They posted pictures again, smiling, going out, pretending everything was fine. But every time I saw those posts, I felt a weird ache in my chest. Then one Friday evening, Mara invited me over for dinner. She said, "Evan's grilling tonight. You have to come." I almost said no. But I went. When I got there, everything felt off. Mara was acting overly cheerful. Evan avoided eye contact the entire time. Halfway through dinner, Mara excused herself to take a phone call, leaving just me and Evan outside on the porch. The silence was heavy. Then he said quietly, "Do you ever think about that night?" I didn't answer. I just stared at the garden lights. He said, "I do a lot." And before I could say anything, he added, "I shouldn't have come to your room, but I can't pretend it didn't mean something." I told him, "Evan, you're married. And Mara is my best friend. He nodded and whispered. I know. That's what makes it worse. That night, when I got home, I deleted his number. Or at least I tried to. I typed it in again an hour later and stared at the screen because even though I hated myself for it, part of me wanted him to call again. 3 nights later, there was another knock at my door. It was raining hard. When I opened it, Evan was standing there, drenched, shaking, and angry. He said, Mara kicked me out. Apparently, she found out he'd been messaging someone, not me. Some woman from his gym. He swore it was just texts, nothing serious. He said he had nowhere to go. My mind screamed no, but my heart said yes. So, I let him in again. He sat on the couch, dripping wet, looking defeated. I gave him a towel, and told him he could stay in the guest room. The air between us felt charged, not like before, but heavier, like both of us knew we were walking a thin line. Later that night, I heard him pacing the hallway. My chest tightened with every step he took. And then just like last time, that soft knock, but this time I didn't pretend to be asleep. I opened the door. He didn't say a word. He just looked at me, his eyes tired, red, and full of something I couldn't name. He whispered, I'm sorry. I just can't be alone tonight. And I stood there frozen. Because I knew what would happen if I said yes. The clock on my bedside table showed 12:03 a.m. Rain kept tapping on the window like it was waiting for something to happen. I told him he should go back to his room. He didn't move. He said, Talia, there's something I need to tell you before I go. My heart pounded. He took a deep breath and said, Mara thinks it's you. She thinks you're the one I've been seeing. Everything inside me went cold. I asked what? Why would she think that? He said because I told her I couldn't stop thinking about another woman. I never said who, but she guessed. She said, your name. I just stared at him. He looked guilty, but also relieved, like a secret had finally slipped out. Then he whispered. I didn't correct her. My knees felt weak because in that moment, everything made sense. The tension, the texts, the silence between them. She already thought we had crossed the line, even though we hadn't, and maybe that made it worse. I told him to leave the room. He nodded slowly and turned to go. But before he stepped out, he said, if I'm already being punished for something we didn't do, maybe we should stop pretending we don't want to. And then he walked away. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a minute. Because I knew when the morning came, everything between us, me, him, and Mara, would never be the same again. Smiling face with hearts. Smiling face with hearts. And that was the night everything changed. But that's not where the story ends. Not even close. If you want to hear what happened after that, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications, because the next part is where the real fallout begins. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in my place after that night? Nothing felt the same. Evan left early the next morning. No note, no message, just silence. I tried to go about my day like nothing happened. But my hands were shaking so badly I dropped my coffee cup twice. Every sound made me jump because deep down I knew it wasn't over. And I was right. Around 4:00 p.m., I heard a car pull up outside my house. When I looked through the window, my heart almost stopped. It was Mara. She didn't call. She didn't text. She just got out of the car, slammed the door and walked straight to my front porch. I opened the door before she could even knock. The look on her face. I'll never forget it. Tired eyes, red cheeks, a mix of anger and heartbreak. Talia, she said quietly. Can we talk? I nodded, even though my throat felt tight. We sat in the living room, the same spot Evan sat in just hours before. For a while, she didn't say anything. Then she whispered, I know he was here. I froze. She continued, he said he stayed in the guest room. But I need to hear it from you. I told her the truth. That he came over because they'd fought. That he slept in the guest room. That nothing happened. She just stared at me, her eyes searching mine for a lie. Finally, she said. Then why did he say you were the only person who understands him? My mouth went dry. He told me that last week, she said, voice shaking. He said you've been there for him more than I have. Do you know what that sounds like, Talia? I didn't know what to say. Because the truth was, I had been there for him maybe more than I should have been. I told her I was sorry, that I never meant to cross any line, but she wasn't having it. Her voice cracked as she said. I trusted you. I told you everything about us. And you? You were the one person I thought would never hurt me. Tears filled my eyes, but she wasn't done. She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. She turned the screen toward me. It was a picture. Evan standing at my door at midnight. My chest felt like it collapsed. Someone had taken that photo from outside. Mara, I swear I don't know how, she interrupted. I got this from an unknown number. They sent it to me this morning. They said, ask your husband where he really spent the night. She was trembling. And so was I. For a second, all I could think was, who else knows? Then her phone rang. It was Evan. She put it on speaker. His voice came through, quiet, almost pleading. Mara, please don't go to Talia's. Just come home. We'll talk, she said. Too late. I'm already here. There was a long pause on the line. Then Evan said something I'll never forget. Mara, you're in danger. You both are. We looked at each other. What are you talking about? Mara asked. Evan sighed. That picture. It wasn't me who sent it. Someone's been following me. Following us. And they know I went to Talia's that night. My blood ran cold. He continued. I think it's the woman from the gym, the one you saw my messages with. She's not who you think she is. Mara's face went pale. I felt my pulse in my ears. What do you mean, not who I think she is? I asked. Evan hesitated. Then he said, she's been blackmailing me for months. She knows things about my job, things she shouldn't. I think she's the one sending those messages. He told us to lock the doors, that he was on his way. But before we could say anything, the call dropped. And then a soft knock echoed from the back door. That's when I realized the sound was coming from inside the house. If you want to hear what happens next, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell, because the next part is where everything unravels. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when we open that door. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Evan was hiding that knock? It sounded gentle, but something about it made my whole body freeze. Mara looked at me, her eyes wide. Did you lock the back door? She whispered. I shook my head slowly. Because I couldn't remember. The knock came again, louder this time. Mara grabbed her phone, tried to call Evan, but it went straight to voicemail. The rain outside was pouring so hard it sounded like static. I took a deep breath, walked to the hallway and said, who's there? No answer. I turned on the porch light that faced the backyard. The light flickered, then steadied, and that's when I saw it. A phone propped up on the window ledge recording. I stepped closer and my stomach dropped because it was my phone. Someone had taken it. They'd been in my house. Mara came up behind me and gasped. What the hell is going on, Talia? Before I could answer, headlights flashed outside. Evan's car screeched to a stop in the driveway. He ran up to the door, soaked and pale, shouting, don't open it. Don't let anyone in. We dragged him inside, locked every door, and demanded he tell us what was happening. He looked at both of us and said, she's been watching us. All of us 4 months. It turned out the woman from the gym wasn't just someone he was texting. She was a private investigator hired by Mara's own sister, trying to prove Evan was cheating. But when she couldn't find proof, she decided to make some. She followed him, took photos, edited them, and sent them anonymously, hoping to ruin their marriage for reasons none of us understood at the time until Evan showed us the last message she sent him that morning. If I can't have the truth, I'll make my own. The police came later that night. They found tire marks outside, muddy footprints near the fence, but no sign of her. Days passed, weeks, nothing. Evan and Mara tried therapy after that, but some things once broken don't really mend. He moved out a few months later. She stopped talking to me completely. And me, I moved to a new apartment far from that neighborhood, but sometimes late at night when my phone lights up by itself, I still feel that same chill down my spine. Because whoever was holding that camera the night the photo was taken knew exactly where to stand. Right outside my window. And that's how it ended. Or maybe how it never really did. I still don't know who sent that last message or why they wanted to destroy everything between us. Maybe it was jealousy. Maybe it was revenge. Or maybe it was someone who just wanted to watch a story fall apart from the inside. What do you think really happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know your theories. And if you enjoyed this story, Don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that'll make you question everything you think you know about trust. Because sometimes the scariest part isn't the lie itself. It's finding out who's been watching you believe it.